I'm George Atkins, class of 2015, current president of the Alumni Association. Started re-engaging with VA maybe in 2019 after getting out of school. Saw some different iterations of groups, and then eventually laid on the Alumni Council, and rose through that. Also, you'll see as part of the rest of the executive committee and the Alumni Council, Kate Double, class of 91. Sean Bursell, Kate Double as the vice president, Sean Bursell is the secretary, class of 77, and then Amber Di Pasquale, 02, who was the president last year, and Ian Toval, who'll be joining a bit. He is 08. Those are both at-large members as part of the broader executive committee. Just a quick beginning update from the Alumni Association. In no particular order and not too formalized here. I think what we've tried to do this year is similar to past years. We're still trying to focus on engagement and participation among the group, tapping passionate people and letting them run where possible, but still trying to hit those core tenets that we have and some of the stuff that's kind of ingrained into our association. Get new members, hold events such as this one, hold events with alumni only, in-person, virtual, as it's sort of become the norm in the past couple of years, as well as just improve the reporting and participation among the base of the alumni where possible. I think on participation engagement, still a lingering, not say problem, but a lingering area to work on. I'm not sure in terms of numbers. I think our participation on a percentage basis is pretty good relative to other prep schools, other independent schools. I think Tonya has thrown out some numbers that it's up there with what you would look for at the high standard level for alumni bases. But given our school size and actual number of people we've graduated, just the people we need to be working with is a little bit lower. So often working with some tight numbers. There's only so much time we can volunteer. So just a lingering concern. Shameless plug that if anyone here is an alumni and hasn't been involved but would love to, we're always happy to field those folks, whether that's formal in terms of participation in Alumni Council, other roles at hand, or just sort of ad hoc if you have a desire to hold an event or give a talk, a seminar, in person or virtual. We're happy to sort of put that on. Nothing makes our job easier than when someone says, hey, I've got an idea. I've got 10 people who want to join. All we need is for your go ahead, and like, perfect. We're happy to do that. Other things. Yeah, we're sort of in February here. The next iteration of the Alumni Council would roll on in July. So have a couple of things we're still looking to accomplish this year. Again, shameless plug for we are fielding actual nominations for the Alumni Council through this week. Some people here might get outreach on that front, asking if you'd be willing to join. It would at least ask your consideration. But if there's anyone that you have in mind who are passionate and dedicated people who want to give back to VA, in sort of that role as an alumni counselor, feel free to send them our way. But all that info is on the website. A pretty quick search of Vermont Academy Alumni Council would get you there. But quick other things of events we've held and events to come. Rossi Turner, who is a recent addition to the Alumni Council, as well as Sean Bursell here, put on a great event with the ABC A Better Chance group. But sort of similar story there, just a quick passionate group that wanted to get back together, and a successful event that was held maybe back in November. Sean, is that right?
Yeah, November.
He's not there. Okay. Other events to come. We've got a Red Sox game coming in August. A couple in-person events in Boston and New York early April. Reunion in June. And then a couple other virtual events that we're looking to put on, similar to those goals I talked about of passionate groups of people. whether that's an affinity group, a team, people in a location, what have you. Still looking to get some stuff through the end of the year. I will pause there. Kate, Sean, Amber, anything you want to add, and not to be too long there, but anything to plug in on the Alumni Council side of things?
For
Okay,
me.
great. Okay, great. I will pass it to Kate then to introduce Jennifer Zakara.
I'm Kate Double. I'm the Vice President of the Alumni Council and class of 1991, and also parent of a student from 23. And I am excited to introduce Dr. Zakara tonight. Dr. Zakara is Vermont Academy's 18th head of school and our first female head. She came to Vermont Academy in 2017 from the Nightingale Bamford School in New York City, where she served as the associate head of school since 2013. And prior to that, she was the associate dean of faculty at the Taft School in Watertown, Connecticut, where she spent 12 years. Since coming to Vermont Academy, Dr. Zakara has worked with the Board of Trustees and the school community to launch a new strategic plan and has overseen a number of partnerships, such as Vermont Academy at Mount Snow. And we look forward to hearing from her this evening. And so, Dr. Zakara, when you're ready, you can take over.
Thank you for that introduction. Before I start, and I have lots of notes here to make sure that I'm staying on track, I just want you to know that it's one of my favorite things to talk about Vermont Academy, and I'm very proud of our school. And overall, you're going to be hearing a great report as to the state of the school today in 2024. So I wanted to just focus on three main topics just to organize as you're listening. One is going to be enrollment, the other finance, and the third sports on snow. So to begin, I thought I'd give you some perspective. You know, when you think back to when we had COVID going on, our school was smaller. We had in 2022, 181 students enrolled, and we were even smaller the previous year. But then in 2023, when we went up to 196, and today we are 218 students, expecting to be about 232 to 235 for September. We are a data-driven entity, so we have lots of tracking that's helping us to really make predictions quite accurately. Nora Dock is our Director of Admissions and Enrollment. She's doing a fantastic job. We are seeing really mission-appropriate students. The faculty say that they cannot remember having better classes and more engaged students than they do right now. So that's always just so rewarding to hear. Our goals for the future are to continue to grow the 9th grade. Many of you may remember that we have a lot of four-year traditions, and that's part of it, but it's also, it ensures stability to the growth of the other classes if we retain our 9th graders and grow that class. We want to have a balance of boarding and day students. We're roughly 70-30 right now, and we'd like to be 80-20. We continue to keep international cohorts strong. Our students are from 22 countries. We increase our work all the time with domestic consultants. Many families hire consultants to help them find the best place for their students. And those consultants come and visit our school, get tours, speak to students, and really immerse in what we have to offer. The challenges ahead for any of you who know or Vermont legislative activity, or who are in states where sending town tuition, which I'll explain, is at risk. We are one of those states. So that means that in Vermont, the legislature is questioning whether students whose families live in towns where there isn't a local high school are going to continue to be able to use those dollars to go to an independent school as opposed to a designated independent school or even another public school. So that is a hotly contested topic right now. I'm on the Vermont Independent School Association. I'm the vice president. I've testified with Senator Hashim. We have a wonderful consultant, and we're really going to fight that. For us, the number of students who come from sending towns isn't quite as high as some of our peer schools, but I'm in the fight, and we believe that parents should have choice. We also have limited boarding capacity. We're growing so quickly that we're actually running out of beds. So we're going to be doing some work on campus to restore some spaces to dormitories that are now classrooms and shift some things around. So it's a good problem to have. The challenges are followed next by positive developments that are happening here. I think many of you know that as of August 1st, Vermont Academy acquired Mount Snow Academy. Why did we do this? Well, we have a wonderful ski history, and one of the first things everybody asks me when they hear the name Vermont Academy is, you must have a great ski program. You must have great winter sports. So we, a long time ago, I think there was concern that the Vermont ski schools might be too competitive for our boarding school to contend with, and that is not the case, because our academic product is so strong. And if we acquired a great ski school or a good ski school and made it great, we had a combination that isn't to be found elsewhere, and that is a school that's a boarding school with a ski school within it. Things have been really exciting. I have been going down to Mount Snow every week, and we've worked on making this merger really streamlined in terms of academics and student experience. I should tell you that we just garnered the NEPSAC Class C award in skiing, and it's the first time since 1981. Let's see, we have a few, our goal there are 35 beds at that site, and it's the old Matterhorn Inn. If you're familiar with Westover, Vermont, we'd like to eventually have all of those beds filled with enrolled Vermont Academy students. After that goal is met and we have a thriving winter program, we'd like to offer year-round programming there in other outdoor sports, including trout fishing, mountain biking, canoeing, hiking, special academics. So it might be a climate study location or environmental studies. It could be a place where students also get work experience. We have many students who want to go into real estate and hospitality and things of that sort. So we have a bigger idea that will eventually unravel, but right now we're just focused on the ski school and making it go from good to great. We have about 30 prospective students interested in enrolling at that site, and many of them are international. I don't know if you know that there are many passionate Japanese skiers, so some of those are students who are connected to a past graduate who is a consultant there, but they really come from the US and all around the world, and we're excited to welcome these prospective students. Data shows that we are more effective at converting acceptances into enrollments. If you haven't noticed, we have a new website design, and it's more friendly for prospective families. We have something called early action, and if you apply early, you can freeze tuition. So 58 students applied this year compared to 24 last year, which is really interesting for us as a statistics. We have a wonderful Center for Learning. We are really eager to continue to have students come to us who learn in non-traditional ways, who are brilliant and who just want to see how what they're learning can be applied in the world. And there's increased interest in this area for us. ASNE schools, that's the Association of Independent Schools of New England, are seeing about 70% of applicants needing financial aid, and that's about the same for us at Vermont Academy. The key things that we're looking for admission include kindness, curiosity, and a spark of interest in a specific area. I'll switch now to talk a little bit about finance. We are working with a 3-year plan for sustainability and cash flow neutral. We're balancing our budget and we're hitting our targets. I've never been more thrilled in my life about numbers. So this is all very good news. It helped that we got something called an ERC, an employee retention credit. And that is because we are the second largest employer in Windham County and we retained our faculty during COVID. Expenses are slightly above our forecast. We have a slightly lower net tuition revenue in annual giving. We're hoping to close that gap with annual giving by the end of June. We have a new CFO who was just hired today, and he happens to be a Vermont Academy graduate, and also worked, his first job was at Vermont Academy, and then he subsequently went on to get his MBA. He was a COO at an insurance company and is currently stepping down from a head of school position in Laconia, New Hampshire. And he also has a military background in the Marines. He sounds a lot like Mike Chukas Jr. Anyway, his name is Vincent Butch Shook. And so he'll be transitioning with Matt and ready to hit the ground running July 1. Our plan for the future includes increasing enrollment and expanding programming beyond our snow sports, continuing to manage spending and driving fundraising for our priorities. We did get a $2.1 million gift. That is the highest gift in the school's history, from Tom and Steve Richardson, classes of Steve is 57, Tom 59. They both are, close, and they just said that this was like their family. This school was like their family, and they wanted to give back. It's an unrestricted gift, but we have targeted it toward, with their blessing, renovating our spaces and creating more dorm spaces. You know that we need moving classrooms out of Alumni into Fuller, moving administrative offices over to Levitt, including the one that I'm in right now. So my office will be in Levitt with admissions, and just sort of repurposing spaces. One of the most exciting parts of this for the students will be that the current art room, which is in the gym, is going to become a fitness center. And the art room will move, with Lisa McNeilis's excitement, to the lower level of Alumni, where the video classes will be as well. So they're going to have both a bigger room for the art classes, but also individual studio rooms for students to do independent projects. Ultimately, science, art, and music will go as a phase 2 around the current Horowitz Theater, the Nita Chukas Theater in the Horowitz building. And that's really going to be something we focus on for our campaign and our 150th anniversary coming up in 2026-27. Our endowment is roughly $10 million, and we plan to grow that as well for that 150th celebration. There's a huge challenge with healthcare expenses. In 2 years in Vermont, we have the high through Blue Cross Blue Shield Vermont, and it went up 25%. It's just a crazy number. We're looking at alternatives with different consortiums with schools and trying to figure that out. It's hard on our families. Okay, I'm about to move now to the last topic, which is Vermont Academy at Mount Snow and our other sports on snow initiatives. And then don't forget, when I'm finished here, there will be questions at the end, time to ask me about anything specific. So as many of you know, we have a long history of Vermont Academy alumni in the ski world. They may have been, CB Vaughn going 135 miles an hour, I think it was, down a slope in Chile, or it might be Rob Delorier, who is opening up. He has real estate businesses and hotels in the ski world in the Teton Mountains, or Art Kelton, who helped to found Vail, or Lessing Stern, whose father and he both founded Deer Valley, and now it's Wasatch Mountain, and so on and so on. And Warren Shivers himself, who really founded our program, was a ski Olympian. So we have skiers who have achieved greatness, and we have entrepreneurs who went into the ski industry, because not everybody can be at the top 1%. So this acquisition fit our school to acquire Mount Snow Academy. We want to offer maximum on-snow time and competitive year-round programs, and eventually add non-ski sports, as I told you, and other programming. Our differentiation is the high-quality delivery of both academics and immersion in sports. There's a phased development for this year currently, and next year we're going to continue what we call legacy programming at Vermont Academy at Mount Snow. So there'll be weekend programs, day students able to come, students who are being tutored there who live in different states in the country and come and board there. And then we also have that sort of prototype of enrolling Vermont Academy students who are boarding there. We have flexible scheduling, some in Dover, some in Saxons River. There's great communication right now between Vermont Academy teachers and the tutors that are there. MAPS is really important to the work. That's my action plan for success, which we have trademarked. It's sort of a personal plan to outline your strategy to achieve your goals. It's really coming into play in ways that almost we haven't seen yet in Saxons River at Mount Snow, because there's so much that these students are doing while they're on the road competing. And we're going to be developing a specific strategic plan for that site. Phase 2 is that we'll potentially develop programs that are related to skiing and ski resorts, such as hospitality, internships. We might even have, besides that, environmental studies, ecology, climate study. Phase 3 would be developing signature programming with potential certificates. So let's say that you wanted to get a certificate in designing a website, or it could be coding and working at a ski business. That's something that was noted by our graduates, Tim Brenwald and Lessing Stern, is something that they needed. And so we could offer specific coursework, and students could get credits for it and then go out and get a job even while they're still going to college. And then we, of course, want to build our reputation with some wins, some great coaching. Our aspirational needs as we look to VA's 150th are that we want there a skateboard park outside to attract the attention of Mount Snow and Dover families. We need programming, marketing, and investment funding, snowmaking and trail making and maintenance on our beautiful campus here at Saxons River. We have ambitions to bring back our Nordic program and jumping. So we have Matterhorn site improvements and Saxons River improvements. We'd like to see a training barn, it's called, with a trampoline in it at the Mount Snow site, and a Nordic track, a professional, homologated, it's called, internationally competitive Nordic track here at Vermont Academy in Saxons River. The academic program at Vermont Academy at Mount Snow, we're currently using, as I said, those Mount Snow tutors. The tutors have met with the VA teachers. They know what the work is. They stay in communication. Next year's academic program is still in flux. We're assessing what academic programming works. It's really a prototype situation there. And we're evaluating a shift from 3-month tutorials to full-scale VA academic programming in a sort of a 3-year transition. So in conclusion, thank you to those online who have supported the school with a gift to the annual fund or any other program. One day for VA is May 7th. That's actually my oldest son's birthday. It's a good day. Hope you'll participate. We're very optimistic about the future in enrollment and fundraising. We're looking to address some deferred maintenance needs here. I really want to, in my tenure, solve for our single steam plant heat and the aging water pipes. We'd like to modernize, diversify, and really be sustainable. And all of these things, along with campus beautification, will contribute to the health and well-being of our community and further enrollment growth. We hope some of you will be able to attend reunion. That is June 6th and 7th. The 150th anniversary of the school, you should note, it technically is 2026, because we were founded in 1876, but we will celebrate it during the academic year of 2026-27. And I look forward to answering any questions you have at the end and you'll next hear from our VASA co-presidents.
Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that great report. And I just want to say, as a 4-year boy from a sending town in Vermont, Weston, I really appreciate your work with the legislature, and I hope you're successful, because it made the difference in my life. It's my honor to introduce the 2 VASA co-presidents, and I think this is the first time, at least it is in my recollection, that we have had the Vermont Academy Student Association co-presidents addressing an alumni meeting, and so I think this is great, and I'm pleased to introduce Bowen Xiao, who's class of 2024. He's from Changchun, China, and he is on the crew team. He's also a proctor and a student artist. He's passionate about business, art, crew, and fitness. So welcome, Bowen. And also the other VASA co-president is Sydney Palmiato, also class of 2024 from Walpole, New Hampshire. I think it's great. The two VASA co-presidents, one is from the other side of the world and the other is from the other side of the river. So it's great. Sydney is involved in soccer, dance, Nordic skiing, futsal, lacrosse, and sailing. She's also with the robotics team, Proctor, musicals, and with musicals, she put down an exclamation mark after musicals. So I think she really wants to emphasize that. Chamber and jazz, and she's passionate about diabetes awareness and fundraising and sailing. So with that, I will turn it over to Bowen in Sydney to tell us what's going on with the VA Student Association and student life in general.
Thank you. So good evening. As one of the student co-presidents of Vermont Academy, it's my honor to share with you the vibrant and dynamic life at our school. Today, we'll highlight on our achievements, our community spirit, and the vision that propels us forward. So our year began with the initiation of a remarkable mentor program. Senior students stepped up to mentor our ninth graders, embracing inclusivity and diversity. This initiative brought together around 30 seniors, fostering a close-knit community. We engaged in activities like card games, walks, and interesting conversations, all aimed at integrating the freshmen into our community. The program's success lies not just in activities, but in the bonds formed, the understanding developed, and nurturing environment it has cultivated.
VA has also upped its community service and kind of brought it back since COVID. So our community service has been a cornerstone of our year. Post-pandemic, we restarted our commitment with over 1,000 hours of service in the fall. And we had 85 student volunteers contributing to our place with 200 plus food items donated during the pumpkin run and supporting 43 organizations. 3 students have already qualified for the President's Volunteer Service Award. And this winter, we've brought a shift indoors because of the cold with initiatives like the Zooniverse, where we contribute to citizen science. And the rising number of students qualifying for the President's Volunteer Service Award is a testament to VA's dedication to the community around us.
Our proctors have been exemplary, serving as mentors, mediators, and role models. They've been involved a lot more this year than past, creating a safe, respectful, and supportive dormitory environment and contributing significantly to our campus life. Also, we have meetings with Student Life Office periodically to check in and talk about overall student life on campus. For visitation policies, VASA's efforts led to early approval of dorm sleepovers and inter-dorm visitation this year. These initiatives reflecting trust and responsibility, having enhanced our social fabric, allowing students to forge deeper connections while having academic and social standards.
This past January, we had the 24-hour play, and we had just 2 groups this time, kind of bigger groups though, who chose to make both their plays based on murder. And this was not planned or coordinated, but it ended up having some pretty fun twists. The first group actually interacted with the audience, having them try to guess who the murderer was, and it was revealed actually at the end that it was no one on stage, and it was recent alumni Alden Ormont, who had come back just for the play, and that he was the murderer in the end. And then the second group actually created a musical in 24 hours. So it was really fun to see what everyone made. I was a part of the first one, and everyone thought I was the murderer, but I was not.
Yeah, and we just had the 115th Winter Carnival. It was an event of energy and sportsmanship with activities ranging from opening ceremonies, big air, arm wrestling, ping pong tournaments, and dodgeball to creative events like banner making, human slingshots, build your own sled race, and talent shows. We showcase our enthusiasm and unity. The final winner of the 115th Winter Carnival was Day Student Boys. Well, a quick note that Day Student Girls came in second, barely behind.
It was a harsh loss for me. So for athletics, they've been going really well this year. In the fall, the boys varsity soccer team came in first for Lakes Region and also came first in NEPSAC, so that was a pretty big deal. And then the girls varsity soccer team also made it to finals, but unfortunately lost 2-1. But both teams had really great seasons and a lot of fun. And throughout the year, they've kept up playing. So like I said, I play futsal now. Kind of, it's half related to the school. We're driven every Sunday to go compete, and we've been having a lot of fun. Just 2 weeks ago, I went to Montreal with the soccer coaches to a showcase. So VA's soccer program has really picked up since partnering with the Liga. Crew has also been getting back on their feet. They competed twice this fall, once ahead of the Fish and another against Brewster. But overall, fall athletics were really successful this year. And this winter, unfortunately, hockey has been struggling a little bit more than usual, but I'm sure by the end of the season they've been picking up, doing well in games. Our boys prep basketball has been doing really well. They have a 76% win rate, and they are expected to make playoffs. And the girls basketball team is also doing really well, and they have made playoffs, which is really exciting.
As Dr. Zakara mentioned, this year marked a significant milestone with the integration of Mount Snow Academy into Vermont Academy. This fusion has created a unique platform for student athletes, blending high-level sports training for competitive alpine ski racers, free skiers, and snowboarders with personalized academic pursuits. Our student athletes compete in the Southern Vermont Series and the Southern Vermont Console, two of the most competitive divisions in winter sports. Our alpine team this year won the knapsack. Students train on snow 6 days a week, taking full advantage of midweek access at Carinthia Parks and Mount Snow. The program is a beacon of excellence, shaping well-rounded individuals ready to excel, both on the slopes and in their academics. Also, VA is planning an entrepreneurial program there for future students.
Yep, and from what I've talked to with a lot of students, everyone is really enjoying the ability to partner with Mount Snow. I have a lot of friends who have just commented on how helpful the new coaches have been, and so they're very appreciative of the new program. So robotics. Just 2 weeks ago, our robotics team traveled to Hyde Park to compete in the First Tech Challenge State Championships. For those who don't know, the First Tech Challenge, or FTC, every year creates a game, and then students must create robots to compete in that game. This year, a robot had to place a 2-inch hexagon called a pixel. It's about this big. And they have to place it on a backboard. And the robot also has to know how to hang off of the ground and shoot a paper airplane a super specific distance. On top of this, there's a 30-second part of the game where the robot completely controls itself. It's called the autonomous part of the competition. And every time you compete, you are randomly paired with another team trying to score the most points. This year, the team had 11 students go to the competition, but we had more inside of the classroom. It was highly competitive. Ellis Dunbar, who's a senior, and Ollie Walsh, who's a junior, were the team drivers, and they controlled the arm and the driving controls. I happened to be a human player, so I got to place the pixels in the playing field and work with other teams, coordinating what our strategy was. Raymond, who's a junior, was the coach, so he made improvements to the robot last second, and he made sure that everything ran smoothly. And then the team itself, we competed in 5 placement matches, and out of those 5, we were in 3rd overall. And after that, we paired up with the 4th team, and we actually made it to finals, which was super exciting. Unfortunately, we did lose in the finals, so we came in 2nd place overall. But from the competition, we took away a 3rd place in something called the Innovative Award and 2nd in design. And we also qualified for the New England Championships at the Big E in Springfield, which is super exciting.
The next one is about college application success. Our students have great college lists and have achieved impressive early decision and early action acceptances from various colleges and universities, such as NYU, Boston College, Boston University, Rutgers, Fordham Northeastern, Trinity College, and etc. As we await regular decision results, we celebrate the diverse and promising futures of our student body.
And then just, I guess, again, 2 weekends ago, we had the Valentine's Day dance. This was prepared by VASA, specifically our 11th graders, just because I was out actually in Montreal. And it was a really wonderful event. It fostered a community spirit, and the money that we raise actually goes to our senior trip. And we're really looking forward to enhancing campus life and focusing on responsible campus leaving policies and empowering younger VASA representatives. So that's kind of why we had them take the lead on this past event. And this upcoming week, we're looking forward to pieing some teachers. So teachers have been signing up. I've been asking them, hey, is it okay if some students pie you? So we have a lot of teachers excited, and students can sign up and pay to pie their favorite teachers in the community.
In conclusion, this year at Vermont Academy has been about growth, unity, and progress. We've embraced challenges, celebrated diversity, and fostered a close-knit community that stands strong together. As we look to the future, we will carry forward the legacy of excellence and traditions we all respect. Thank you for your time, continued support, and belief in us.
We've noted the rest of the time for Q&A. So we've got some pre-submitted questions. I see some people have been active in the chat, so we'll try to field those as best we can. I think we'll try to prioritize questions from people who are on and or pre-submitted and are here, just so they could hear the answer. But in no particular order, maybe to start with David's question in the chat. I think this, Dr. Zakar, was for you, but just given the role there. Maybe too broad a question, but how is VA handling DEI and its effect on curriculum? Is balance overriding what many feel is indoctrination, which can be a little bit subjective, but what do you think?
Yeah, great question. It's incredibly relevant for schools these days to get a question like that. What I want to do is just respond in terms of what have always been implicit at Vermont Academy, and that's our core values. If you don't, I wouldn't say we have memorized word for word, but it is the social fabric of our community, and it's all based on understanding and valuing the individuality of each and every student. So for faculty, the student right in front of us, for peers, each other. That is how we begin what is called DEI, JB, sometimes work. The B is, for me, so important, and that is belonging. Our core values are designed to have us respect one another, value and foster personal growth for every student, including discovery of their passions in themselves. And so that's the environment that we have created here. We do have curriculum that has to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion. It often appears in specific moments like our Black History Month right now, or Martin Luther King Day, or the opening of the year and faculty professional development. All of this is designed for us to help to know each other better and to support each other's growth. As far as DEI, that kind of focus on diversity, equity, inclusion, and its impact on our curriculum, I would say that we are discovering every day, and this should always be true, different chapters in American history, different things that I know weren't taught when I was in school. And it makes history come alive and helps us to understand how we got where we are. So we're very actively always looking at ways to develop understanding, not only of things like the Constitution and the Federalist Papers and things that often aren't fully read now. I mean, I don't know how many people have actually read the Constitution in a while, and other originary documents and the Founding Fathers. But we're also looking at things like, for example, the Tulsa riots and things that I was never taught in school. So it's an incredibly exciting time to have curriculum be so vibrant and to be also so comprehensive in a way to understand our origins as a country. But I hope, David, that answers that. We are here to really lift up each other, and as our assistant head of school, Brian Galoran, says, if you came as a lowercase a, we want to make you a capital A. If you came as a B, we want to make you a capital B. It's all about our community and valuing each other and our core values.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a wonderful answer, actually. It's so comprehensive and so fully understanding of all that's going on these days. And it's great to hear it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think I'm seeing you soon, right?
Yes, I certainly hope so.
You better be there.
I will.
This is Ian, class of 08. I'm here, just not on video.
Where's Ian?
I think just kind of going off that, I think Jay just left, but he had a good question for you, Jennifer. What is the school's plan or strategy to staying competitive in a shrinking market? And what is VA's niche with the boarding school market? And what programs at VA are most relevant and attractive for this generation of students?
Yeah, those were three really good comprehensive questions. So I actually wrote out answers so I make sure I stay on track. The first one is, what is the school's plan or strategy to staying competitive in a shrinking market? And let me just say that it's a shrinking market because we have decreasing numbers of students who are in high school ages and increased competitive arenas with public schools strengthening and charter schools and so on. So there are more choices and fewer students. So to stay competitive, you never lose track of your mission. I learned this from my mentor. Our mission is really rooted in our motto, be true to your best self. So we need to show how Vermont Academy, with our hands-on learning and experiential way of teaching and learning, is more relevant now than ever in helping students to realize how to be true to their best selves. I think when you heard Bowen and Sydney describe some of their learning experiences, and even that, I love the story of the robotics competition. I mean, this is where we make a difference. We will also focus to be competitive in a shrinking market on how our location offers freedom from anxiety and stress of urban and suburban schools, where students' social lives can get so inundated by social media that there's no chance to really be at peace. And so I have a lot of students arrive here and they open the car door and say that they take a deep breath for the first time. We're good at that. We're good at offering a rural environment. We are also offering immersion opportunities and flexible schedules, as well as independent learning and work experience. And I think those are going to make us competitive in a shrinking market. Second question was, what is VA's niche within the boarding school market? Our school niche is small, rural, being that you are being known by others. You're growing into self-realization and self-actualization. We are really good for fiercely independent kids who couldn't fit into traditional environments, and they're super smart and they end up opening their own businesses, but they need to know how what they're learning can be applied. We're also good for the brilliant student who just couldn't take the social life of an intense urban and suburban environment. As I said to you, we were excellent for students who need some learning support, who learn in different ways and are really smart, but they just need some extra help to coordinate with the classroom learning. Our Center for Learning is key to that equation. And so on and so on. We really, it's really all about, as Dave Hodgson always says, if you don't like having an adult in your life, you should not come to Vermont Academy, because we're so small that we really become a family, and our adults know the students know each other. That's a differentiator. It just doesn't happen at other schools I've been at or seen. And then finally, he asked what programs are most relevant and attractive for this generation of students. As you heard mentioned from Bowen and Sydney, entrepreneurship, robotics, economics, independent work projects in the arts. We have students who design and compose musicals, their own drama productions as well. Music, we have special sort of master classes here for the arts. We are great at for this generation, giving them what's called executive functioning. So the ability to simply order and plan their lives. How do I, when I go off to college, be my own best navigator? And then our MAPS program, which we're always sharpening up in terms of goal setting, I think is really going to help students as they move to the future.
And I know this is obviously not a question for me, but I was just thinking about what I always say on tours of why VA is so special is that you can do everything you want to do. I have a very busy schedule. I try to be involved as much as I can. And so I often don't have downtime, but VA has made it possible so that I can do all the crazy things I want to do. So I'm very thankful for that. And so I think that's, to me, what makes VA the most special. I have a lot of friends at different boarding schools, and they're always complaining how they get a couple things and that's all they can do. And so I'm very lucky to be able to experience so many different fun activities.
Thank you both. Sydney, that actually kind of goes into the next question. Actually from your mom. She wants to hear from you and Bowen of what 3 words describe the VA student experience best?
I'll say one. I'll say very supportive, because I know we're a very small community. We have a small campus, but I think one thing I like here the most is that everybody knows each other and we all support each other, and that's just I love it.
I guess we'll switch off. I think caring, the teachers that I work with closely, who they want to see us succeed and explore new ideas. Mr. Katie, who is one of the most amazing people I've ever met, especially he's just an incredible music teacher. I went into high school kind of thinking I was going to stop making music, and he just completely opened up the world of music, and now I play multiple instruments and love my time in the music room. So all the teachers, Mr. Echanis, who's the robotics, he's opened up a new world of robotics, something I didn't think I was going to be able to do, and helped me find my place within the team. So I think VA is very caring. The teachers are very caring.
The last one I'll probably say entrepreneurial, because I think that's the word for progress and innovation. I think we did a lot of new things this year. We have integration with Mount Snow Academy, and also I think we're planning for a entrepreneurial space there, and I think that's like very beneficial for future students. And like all these new ideas are actually like, doing great things here. So yeah.
Yeah, we're allowed a lot of freedom. And Bo and I are both in the honors advanced art class. And so we are both currently designing shows and creating art pieces to present in early May. And there's a lot of planning and freedom that we're given there to kind of figure out what we want to do and how we want to present our artwork. And so VA gives us a lot of freedom to kind of figure things out and then help us along the way when it's needed. Yeah, I think those are our 3 words.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Excuse me. I think we'll go to the alumni leadership team. This is from Lisa Bianconi. She wants to know if there are any plans in place to mentor the 2024 class upon graduation.
Yeah,
I love this question.
That's a great question.
This is something near and dear to my heart, but I'm going to let George answer. Go for it, George.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things I'd respond to there. In a perfect world, absolutely, we would have a very well-oiled machine. And I'm just putting this in like my college perspective, which is totally different world in terms of like the manpower, investment, all this stuff available. Immediately, like before you graduate, you're plugging you right into the alumni system, not only of course for giving and like donations, but setting you up with your local group and your local club, whether it's a city or what have you, getting programming going, getting you into different seminars with alumni and making those connections immediately, some of which is tied very closely to mentoring and what do you now that you're graduated, where you go in life and how can we help you continue to achieve your goals and dreams. As mentioned, that's a perfect world. So what that might look like for VA, I'm not quite sure. Anecdotally, I'll say I'm happy to chat with anyone who would like mentoring, but that's sort of on the side. Like, what does that look like in practice, and then how could that be something that's a bit more formalized and a bit more programmatic? I'm not sure. So yeah, when we think about like the new graduates and then that yearly cycle, I think it's on folks' mind, but it's somewhat of a low priority compared to some other stuff, and then it's just sort of a decision in terms of what do we have time for, what can we put our efforts to. But that's at least my sort of anecdotal response. Dr. Z or anyone else from the alumni side, feel free to hop in.
Yeah, if I can just jump in, I see Lisa's on the Zoom. I would love to hear suggestions from the alumni group or parents about what that would look like, because it's something that we really should invest some thought into and see what concepts are out there and what we can develop and what we have the bandwidth to do. So Lisa, I would you can contact George or me or anybody else, Kate, Ian, or Amber on the executive committee and share your thoughts on what you think that might look like or should look like. I'd love to hear it.
And I'll just add that there's a great desire on the part of graduating seniors and alumni to come together. We've had many alumni, I can think of at least 4, who have tried to develop an alumni network. We have fairly recently put out a directory, and I believe it groups according to profession, which can be helpful for the seniors. I know my college, has an open question to alumni: would you like to be a mentor? And then they would, have like a data bank for students to use. But however we go forward with this, there's a great desire for that coming together on the part of the students and the alumni, and wonderful opportunities that could emerge, even with maybe a few success stories, and then that would inspire others. Thank you for that question, Lisa.
Perfect, thank you. We had a question in the chat for Dr. Z from Mary Beth. What plans do you have coming for the 150th anniversary, knowing that this group currently on the call obviously cares a lot about VAs, or anything that we can do or that you like help with, or what we can do to help with that celebration?
Yeah, I can't wait for this. I've been waiting for this ever since I realized that during my tenure here, we would have such a huge anniversary. These don't come around that often, right? And so what already is in the works is Rick Moulton, class of 67, has been making a film on our history. And he has interviewed many people and really done a little bit on our founding and the different eras of Vermont Academy. And from this larger film, we will excerpt pieces and put it out on social media. I also am planning ambitiously to write a new history. I'm not really all that pleased with the original book. I want it to be a lot of highlighting of our graduates and what they've achieved, and the original idea of Vermont Academy, which was a little bit lost along the way. As Dorothy Levitt said, this is the lost generation. They didn't know much about it. Just so happens that our history is well preserved at the University of Vermont in the archives. And I want to highlight that, why were we founded? What were the principles? And they're just wonderful. We were co-ed. I don't know any other school that was co-ed at its founding in 1876. There was a lot of emphasis on science and getting women in science, and so many other things. We were diverse. We had students from all around the world who were here because if you were a missionary's child, you could come for free. Therefore, we had students of color, geographical diversity. It's just an amazing, amazing story. So I'm going to be working on that. I'm going to take a small team from the advancement office to Amherst, because they just did the very best job I've ever seen for their bicentennial. And I want to just hear how they went about, setting up that runway to the 150th. We're going to probably have a small focused campaign that will be based on growing our endowment, and then also finishing the second phase of the Horowitz building with science, art, and music wrapped around it in 2 stories. Those are the 2 things I really want to achieve. We are ongoing, improving our infrastructure, as you heard, our heating, our water, our campus buildings, drainage, roofs, all those things that have to come, out of your own operating budget. So I don't want that to be a part of it. I want it more to be this spectacular integration of science, art, and music. Just imagine students running with their projects up and down, the 2 stories, and integrating interdisciplinary work in that site. And growing in our endowment is a gift to the future. So that's our plan for now, and we can't wait. We're super excited, and there'll be many events and gatherings to commemorate.
Perfect. Thank you. Not sure, given the time, I know. So maybe one question, and then maybe there's one time for one more, but one that would actually probably be good to be answered by Dr. Z, the 2 students, and then probably George. Is from Jennifer. What are you most excited about? What are you most excited about for the school currently?
Who asked this question?
Jennifer.
Jen Palmiato?
Yeah.
Okay. And you want me to answer first?
Yeah, whoever. Yep, I think it's a good question for all 4. Just different perspectives. Yeah.
To see all of our hard work and planning connecting the great history of Vermont Academy with the future for our students. It's paying off. The numbers are great. We're getting, just so much more engagement from our alumni. It feels like we're going down the right road, and I couldn't be more exhilarated. For me, everything is students first. And so that link between who we are, who we were originally, what our traditions are, and what students need for the future is right where I want to work and what I'm excited about the most.
Yeah, I think a lot of similar things on the alumni side. Being on these kind of updates as well, having a role, sort of a voting but observatory role in the board of trustees. The school is in a pretty good spot, it sounds like. The enrollment's really strong, and I'm seeing a lot of success across those activities, some of which I had done at school and some of which I hadn't, some of which hadn't existed when I was there. So it's a lot of positive things happening. At the end of the day, what's most important is the kids and the faculty and staff there. That are ideally as the alumni, we are here to support that and continue our own connections as well. But it should all be for the betterment of the school and the education being provided, which from what I've seen is is providing it to a really high number of kids, nearly or maybe higher than when I was there, and at a really high level, which is important.
For me, it's gonna be the senior trip. Cause though like we haven't really decided about where we're going, but I really look forward to it. It's gonna be a great time to have with his friends and the whole class. Yeah.
What are the options for the senior trip?
So some people saying going to Montreal, which is impossible. I don't know, like we have to talk to the whole class and with Sydney and Cole. So
Yeah, what I've been hearing is a lot of people want to go to Six Flags. I have to say I don't want to go to Six Flags. I really want to go White River rafting. So I'm trying to get a lot of students excited for that. But in the upcoming weeks, we're going to send out a poll, kind of see what everyone is feeling, and then go from there. But that's also something I'm excited for. I guess, I mean, I'm really excited for all the new plans that are coming. I'm very sad I'm gonna miss them because I'm obviously graduating this year. I think something that I've observed from school and I'm excited to continue is just how the student population has changed and the type of students that VA is now bringing in. When I first started my freshman year, VA was very much a hockey school. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not necessarily something that I'm super passionate about. And over the last 3 years, I've seen such a greater diversity of students. Students are excelling in art and music and still sports. And I think that the new community that the admissions team and Dr. Sakar has created here is something really special and amazing. Because I saw another question just kind of about leadership and student roles. And I think that what VA has done, especially with this new student body, is most people, I would say the majority of students, they're not just really good at academics, really good at sports, or are really good artists. They're all three or two, and that's something really special that I'm sad to leave when I graduate this upcoming spring.
Awesome.
Gonna throw out there. My class went
Thank you.
to Six Flags and it was awesome. So just don't
Noted.
don't throw it out
Noted.
yet.
Good to know. Good to know.
Owen, I also want to let you all know that one of our graduates, Rick Moulton's wife, Melinda, helped to get that Burlington to Montreal train in. So if you all want to get on the train, but bring some camping gear and some passports and driver's licenses, maybe you can get into Montreal and make it work.
Got it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, well, we certainly look forward to seeing what happens, given the debate here, but I'm sure it'll be fun nonetheless. So to everyone, thank you for joining. To Sydney and Bowen, really appreciate you hopping on here. Best of luck with the rest of the year. Dr. Z, always great to see you and really appreciate your report there. But to everyone here, if there's lingering questions, you can feel free to send them along to me or Nicole, and then she can pass them along. I know there were some that had been submitted in the chat we maybe didn't get to, but I think we hit a ton of stuff. But really appreciate everyone taking the time this evening and sticking around for a couple extra minutes. So thank you.